All right, so in this video, we're going to look at trig equations, and in particular, trig equations where there's a change in the frequency. So if you have a look in the problem I've got here, we're asked to solve the sine of 2x equals 0.5, and you notice as well, it's in between 0 and 360 degrees. So first thing to remember is that ordinarily, this sine curve has a period of 360 degrees. And we get two solutions in that. So remember from previous ones where we had sine doing that, if we had the solution coming across, we'd expect to get two solutions here. If, however, our frequency increases so that it now happens twice in the 360 degrees, we'd expect to get four solutions. And they will repeat every 180 degrees. So if this one, for example, was 20, then this one will be 200. Okay, it'll be 180 degrees on. So what we're really going to try and do is find those first two, and then we can just add 180. So the way to go about doing that is just to write it out, and then we take the inverse sine of both sides, which is 30 degrees. So therefore 1x is 15 degrees. So that's where our first solution will be, is at 15 degrees. And again, I would think about symmetry here. There's my 15 there. I'm going to look at this in terms of this positive apex there. I know this is 15 degrees in from this side, so the next one will be 15 degrees back in from the other side, which is at 75 degrees. So I've got my first two solutions. Equally, I know that these solutions repeat every 180 degrees. Okay, so there's two solutions every 180 degrees. And that's because, remember, the frequency times the period is 360. The frequency here is 2. So therefore the period is 180 degrees. Okay, so if we add 180 on, we're going to get 195 as our third solution, and 255 as our fourth. And we can just quickly check that. I'll just change color for a second. We're looking at 0.5. which is here. So if we go through and put that line right across, sort of straightish, you can see it occurs at 15, 75, 195, and 255. So we've solved that. Okay. So we'll just have a look at one more, which is a little bit trickier. This one here. And again, we're looking at the fact that the frequency is 2, so there'll be twice as many answers. There'll be 4 of them. And again, we're between 0 and 360 degrees. So every 180, there'll be two solutions. So we just write out our equation, sine like this. And then we just do our regular algebra. Let's divide both sides by 2, which will give us a half. Take the inverse sine of that, which is 30 degrees. I'm just going to quickly skip a step so I don't run out of space. X plus 60 therefore is 15, and if we take away the 60 we get minus 45. Now the problem with that is that can't be our first solution, because remember our domain is between 0 and 360. So this is again where that knowledge of graphs is quite useful. Remember this graph, the sine graph, has been moved. You can see the x plus 60 means it's been moved backwards 60 degrees. So it's 0 point. Normally a sine graph goes up like that, doesn't it? That's actually been moved back 60 degrees. So we know then that this positive apex thing here, this start of it, is actually going to be all the way over there back at negative 60. So we could actually, not that my screen wants to go, but it's back at minus 60 degrees there. So this first solution is technically 15 degrees in from that. So again, by working on symmetry, my second solution would therefore be 15 degrees back from that, which is at 15. So our first solution is actually going to be at 15 degrees. Okay, and we can see that it actually fits because that is actually at the line of 1, which is what we're solving for. Now our next solution is going to be quite a long way on, but if we add 180 degrees to both of these, so that's going to go up to, oh, what is that, 135 degrees. And again, think about symmetry. It's 15 degrees in from the left-hand edge of that positive apex. Here's my next positive apex, come 15 degrees in, 135. And then if I come back 15 degrees from that one, that's going to be at 195. That seems about right, which incidentally is 180 degrees on from that one. And the last solution, we move across a little bit, must be another 180 degrees on from the 135, so is that 315. And again, we can check that because there's our next positive apex starting, 15 degrees in is at 315. So this is one of those ones again where a knowledge of the graph is going to be really useful. But again, the key things to take out of this is when the frequency changes, that will change how many solutions there are in our domain. And just as a final thing, if I had something like sine of 3x equals 0.5, that means that this is actually repeating 3 times. The frequency is 3, therefore the period will be 120 degrees. So therefore we'll get 2 solutions every 120 degrees. So therefore, if our domain was between 0 and 360, we would have 6 solutions. Okay, it's very important to be aware of this because that will tell you whether or not you've found all your solutions or not. There you go.